Throughout Cassie's journey in freeing who she believes to be Gregory, she's hunted down by a purple digital entity only present in the Fnaf system, the virtual augmented neural network integration unit. Interestingly, when Cassie takes the mask off, the entity who appeared before her completely disappears and cannot harm her any longer. The entity's only way of killing Cassie or capturing her is by restricting her vision while wearing the mask for too long when it's present, when eventually one of the animatronics get to her. The entity appears in different sections of the pizzaplex and seems to have different levels of strength in each part. For example, when Cassie enters the server room, which is only accessible through putting the mask on, as if it appears to be completely virtual, the entity is much larger and more powerful, distorting Cassie's vision with statics. That's despite there being no animatronics, so how could the entity really kill Cassie here, and what would be the real threat? First, let's take a look at the entity's design and what it could potentially be. The entirety of the system when Cassie puts the mask on is color-coded purple, which is heavily similar to the glitch world which Glitchtrap and Cassidy are stuck in. Just a quick summary, at some point, a development company wanting to create games such as the Princess Quest scanned some of the animatronic circuit boards in order to speed up the process of transferring the animatronics into the games. Unfortunately, the soul of William Afton still remains in one of them, which transports him into the digital realm. That includes one of William's victims called Cassidy, but we'll talk about that in another video. This creates some sort of pocket dimension which is closely connected to the real world, where William Afton can freely roam and even find his way back possessing other animatronics, as the digital world is connected to the animatronics. How could that possibly be? Well, we see that in the server room where each and every section of the pizzaplex, including all the animatronics within them, are included, which means William Afton could easily access these servers and tamper with them. Putting the Fnaf mask on, we see how the wearer can enter the digital world and parts which can only be accessed through the digital world. This virtual world is far from visual, as Cassie can easily pass through certain items, even a large screen at some point, and enter certain areas such as the server room using this mask. So this world is more like a pocket dimension which can directly impact and alter the real world. This is what Fnaf could see and experience using the mask, hence why she was directly manipulated by William Afton to carry out his deeds for him. The person who wears the mask is directly connected to this world, as it appears some sort of needles pierce their way into the wearer's face, making connection to their nervous system, hence why it's called virtual augmented neural network integration. This is actually evident from when Cassie puts the mask on initially. It hurts her, with Helpy even saying that it shouldn't hurt that much, even though it does, which means that the mask in a way binds itself to Cassie's nervous system. Fnaf was maybe not evil inherently, but she was heavily manipulated by Afton, as her entire nervous system and mind was corrupted. So despite this rabbit glitch entity not being present in the real world, it is very real in the virtual or digital world, where it can manipulate anyone who pays a visit. In the server room, which is completely virtual, although there are no animatronics present, the entity can actually kill Cassie, seemingly being able to make her brain dead. After all, Cassie is connected to this world through her nervous system, which allows this entity damage it or manipulate it. And as the server room is completely digital, the entity has more power there and can make Cassie get trapped there. As a matter of fact, the server room is one of the places where Cassie cannot take the mask off, which could mean she could forever be trapped. So maybe the entity wouldn't kill her, but completely corrupt her mind and possess her in some way or another. Now that we know the entity is a digital being only present in the digital world, the question is, what is its purpose and why does it exist? We can only assume this is something Fnaf had to face while wearing the mask as well. Despite the entity being there, Fnaf didn't seem to be affected by it, and she could wear the mask for extended periods of time without being affected by it. So it's fair to say Fnaf and the entity had some sort of understanding. That's why she wasn't targeted by it. Helpy, the virtual assistant of the mask, mentions that this mask is a security mask, so essentially it's designed designed to be worn by security members, such as Vanessa. This explains why the wearer could access the server room and easily pass through objects and identify issues and problems so they can be fixed, or different parts could easily be accessed. Towards the end, when Cassie enters the underground, she reaches a place filled with computers and purple circuit boards and networks and monitors, having the name M.X.E.S. or M.X.E.S. When Cassie uses the elevator, Gregory explains that it's a security system which was intended to keep the mimic hidden, but as Cassie turned it off, it allowed it to come out.
You were never supposed to go to the Pizzaplex. That thing in the sinkhole tricked you. I really don't know what it is, but it's been trapped down here a really long time. The M.X.E.S security program was designed to keep it hidden, but you shut down the security, and now it's free. It's not your fault. I know you did it for me, to save me, but we can't risk being followed. I'm sorry.
Gregory? No!
The biggest clue to what the purpose of this entity is that when Cassie deactivates the security system, the glitch rabbit appears momentarily before being sucked into the system, never to be seen again. So it's safe to say the glitch rabbit is a security measure intended to stop any intruders from deactivating the security system and trap the mimic for good. That's why it's mainly present and targeting Cassie when she is disabling the security nodes. All this entity was trying to do was to stop anyone from deactivating the security system put in place to keep the mimic hidden and locked away. That's why it distorts the intruder's vision, stopping them from effectively seeing so they don't disable the system. All the mimic has been trying to do since the beginning of the game was to coach Cassie into disabling the security system and getting rid of the entity in order to free itself, the only thing which was keeping him hidden. I guess the method of dealing with any intruders was very hands-on with the entity, who quite literally scared the hell out of people from disabling it. This explains why Vanny was not targeted by the entity, as it's possible she was Vanessa, being a security member herself and not identified as an intruder, which allowed her to bypass the security measures such as the entity. She also didn't seem to deactivate any security measures, which kept the glitch rabbit away from her. One of the major benefits of the mask was to make the wearer appear invisible to the animatronics, letting them to easily bypass them and move around freely. This seems to be the most important feature. That's why the entity appears to counter this feature and inform the animatronics of the whereabouts of the wearer. This is an extreme measure to ensure the system is safe from any tampering, to ensure the servers are safe. It's not clear if the entity was originally created for the servers and other digital assets of the Pizzaplex to be kept safe, or if it was created to keep the mimic hidden. Either way, it provided the role for both duties, keeping the mimic hidden and the system safe from any virtual attacks or intruders. Unfortunately, Cassie is lied to and manipulated to turn the security off, which gets rid of the entity, which could mean that the mimic can not only physically get out of his confines, but he could potentially access the digital world and wreak havoc, as otherwise, if the confines of the mimic were only physical, the concrete wall would have been enough and the digital security wouldn't anyhow keep him hidden and trapped. So it's a possibility Gregory was more terrified of the mimic finding its way to the digital world and quickly accessing different servers and circuit boards, as we saw, being able to even possess Freddy. Another possibility is that the entity was created by Freddy and Gregory in order to keep the mimic hidden and away from the virtual world. In the ending of the main game, Gregory and Freddy fight off the burn trap, who is also the glitch trap, trying to possess Freddy. As they manage to do just that and run away, the game ends. But that wouldn't be the end of the story, as Afton would be still roaming in the digital world and find his way back into the real world. So the only effective way Gregory and Freddy could stop him for good would be to put in place a strong security system which would keep him hidden. That brings me to my next theory, that the mimic is possessed by William Afton, which I will go over in the next video. Alright folks, that's about it for this video. If you enjoyed it, make sure to stay tuned as I have many more to come in the next few days. It's been your host. Thank you for being here, and I will see you on the next one. Have a fantastic day.